Hi everyone, good evening. My name's John Hardy. I'm going to be talking you through our courses and give you some hopefully useful advice and guidance this evening so you can make those decisions on your next steps which are right for you. So it's going to be focused on our Devon campus, and I'm going to go through these kind of topics. I'm going to touch on the COVID response. I'm only going to touch on it because frankly, who knows what's going to be happening in September or when your course starts, but I'll give you our kind of update as to where we've got to now in terms of our delivery models and how we've supported students to continue learning. I'll give you an overview of study programs as well as a range of different other courses and advice on finding a course. So how do you make that choice? Because for many of you right now, you'll probably be sat at home thinking, how do I actually make that decision? How to make the right one for me? So we'll go through some kind of hints and tips for that, as well as some next steps and further things for you to be doing. So I will crack on. So obviously we're going to give you advice and guidance, but I'm assistant principal at the college. I'm very, very proud of our college and what our students achieve. And we get fantastic results and we punch way above our weight. So we have the fourth highest A-level results for students at any general FE college in the country for those high grades. All vocational students average distinction, so that is an incredible result for our vocational students, and we've got over 1,000 apprentices in the workplace on a massive range of different types of apprenticeship, and we're very proud of the standard that we have for our students and where our staff enable them to get with their expertise. So in terms of us as a college, it is about allowing you to go further in life. It is about improving your life chances and getting you where you need to get to in life at that time in your life. So it is about the care, guidance and support that we offer to enable you to get there. So it's about working with you to help realise that. And part of that is obviously picking the right course to start with. So kind of going back a bit to our COVID response and how we've done, because obviously at the moment it's having an impact where, I don't normally do these. Sat in my house in a dark corner while my kids are told to not come in the room. So the things are a bit strange at the moment. We've adapted as well as we can to that, and we think we've done an incredibly good job of that. So just a common question that comes up with these kind of talks when we talk to people in the community is about GCSE grades that schools will be providing this year. It's currently out for guidance with Ofqual at the moment, who are consulting on their approach to how GCSE grades and A-level grades will be given this year. It looks likely that schools will be doing a school-based assessment, which will form part of their understanding of how they get to your grade, but that process hasn't quite been refined yet. Whatever it is, we will support you based on those grades you get from school, and we will support you to get onto the course that you want to get onto. We did, before the lockdown, have a mixture of online and face-to-face learning. So we had dished out over 379 to be exact Chromebooks to students across our 3 sites to help them learn at home, because we appreciate that it can be very, very difficult for you while learning at home. We've also been working incredibly hard setting up testing centres for the lateral flow tests on our sites, as well as ensuring if you don't have Wi-Fi access, how we might do that. And obviously at the moment, if you're not aware, mobile providers are supplying extra data and all those kind of things. So I would encourage you to get hold of your mobile provider for that. But we've also been working with students to provide access where we can to really help. And also I work with students across all 3 sites in helping them access site if they're vulnerable or if they struggle with their internet connections. I meet with a team of cross-college staff 3 times a week at the moment, but it has been 5 times a week, even more than that sometimes, just to make sure we're getting the right offer for the right person at the right time and making sure we're really, really responsive to that, and that we care about young people and that we really help support them. So other kind of forms of support then, which are kind of more common fare for standard times. So we've got a range of different things that we support our learners with. So there's additional time, additional tutoring and support. There's accessibility support, digital accessibility as well. I mentioned those 379 Chromebooks we've already given out to students to be able to learn from home. And we're very committed to equality and diversity as well. Part of that comes through financial support, but also how we talk to people and how we support those young people to achieve their very, very best. We've got a fantastic safeguarding team who always come out of Ofsted inspections with absolutely glowing and raving reviews, and I'm not surprised for that. They really do go above and beyond. And we're also committed to well-being for our staff and students. So we can talk to you a bit more about that later on in our enrichment offers. So in terms of our courses, We've got a range of different prospectuses. There's the adult prospectus down the bottom there with the sunflowers on. There's the kind of angular one, which is our higher education prospectus. And then there's our colourful one, which is our prospectus for 16 to 18 students. And for the 16 to 18 students, those leaving year 11 or even swapping colleges later on in life or moving cross country, we have a range of courses at Mid Devon, from vocational, T-levels and apprenticeships. And I'm going to talk you through those. So there we go. So before we kind of get stuck into the different course types, a common question is around, what do these levels mean? Now, when we work in a college, we tend to talk about these all day long and kind of have quite a clear understanding. But if it's your first time in further education, or maybe it's been a little while, it's probably worth a bit of a refresher. So level 3 is that A-level or A-level equivalent course. So that can be BTEC, Sitting Guilds courses and access courses. Level 2 is a GCSE type level course, where students, if they did their GCSEs, they might not quite have achieved the grades they wanted. We can spend a year with them to kind of help them get ready for the next step. And then level 1 is for those people that might need more than a year, might need 2 years to get ready. And that is important. When we look at secondary school, it's quite a linear progression. You kind of go year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, bum, 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 and each year it kind of goes up and up. And at college, we're fortunate that we can take a bit of a separate view and that we can tailor that more to the individual. And the levels is really a part of that. And obviously, real significant success when we make sure we've got the right student on the right level course. It enables them to grow and perform to their very, very best. We've also got entry-level courses, which tends to be for learners with EHCPs or special educational needs, but that can be for a range of learners for a massive range of different reasons. And again, it is all part of finding the right level course for you. So we've got the levels of courses. Here's the different subjects. So we've got a really, really broad range of subjects. But it's not just the qualification you're doing, it's the specialist that's going to be teaching you, and it's the resource they're going to be teaching you in. So all the stuff that teach in these areas are specialist educators. They've all worked in those sectors, and they've all trained to be teachers in that sector and are passionate about educating the next generation of people for their sector. T-levels are brand new for September, and they're the kind of gold standard for vocational courses that the government's launching. They're a kind of reverse apprenticeship. So instead of 4 days in the workplace, 1 day in college, which is a typical apprenticeship model, they can vary. The T-level model is different. So it's 4 days in college and 1 day in work on average. You might have blocks. So education and childcare, you'll be in 6-week blocks, for example. But for construction, you may be 1 day a week, 2 day a week, and it depends on what your employer wants for you to be able to perform best in the workplace. Different sectors have got different needs, and we want to be flexible to that. So the final course I'm going to talk through briefly is apprenticeships. Now, these are often quite popular for students leaving school, and they can think, well, I can earn while I learn, and I can get a salary, and I can get ahead in my career, and that is fantastic. They're a great opportunity. They are like a job, so you can only get an apprenticeship if there's a opportunity, a job, an apprentice available for the taking. But you shouldn't let that discourage you. You should still apply for it and get in touch with us. What I would suggest for year 11s looking at that is, well, anyone looking at it, is have a backup just in case that apprenticeship doesn't work out for one reason or another. You've still got a course to kind of fall back on, and you know where you're going, so you're not left in limbo if that does happen and you don't secure that apprenticeship place, although we will support you to do that. It really does help you build that career. They also go up to much higher levels nowadays. It isn't just level 2 and 3. It's degree level apprenticeships as well that we offer for a massive range of employers that we work with in the Mid Devon area. We've got a really strong range of networks that we work with. So all of those teachers, educators and students get to work in our fantastic industry standard spaces. So we've got some incredible resources at Mid Devon. So our Future Learning Hub is an amazing resource. Our construction and carpentry workshops are amazing. I was having a walk around there with one of the tutors just before Christmas, getting to understand the place and getting to know it a bit more, as well as our motor vehicle workshops and our gym and hair and beauty salons and so on. So there really is a real incredible range of specialist resources to complement our specialist staff. In terms of adult and HE, obviously we've got quite a broad offer at Mid Devon. It does allow you to stay local and boost your career. And we do have a very supportive learning environment. Our HE students, for instance, do go on and perform fantastically if they decide to do their top-up year. We've got, I think, over 70% of learners get either a 2-1 or a first degree. And we've got a really good track record in access of enabling students to get onto the course they want to get onto. It's also a great opportunity to retrain into a sector that you might be interested in. My wife retrained as a plumber last year, and that was a real good opportunity for her to do something that she'd never thought was really possible or likely for her. But she, we've had kids and all the rest of it, and now she's got time for herself and to retrain in the sector that she's passionate about. And some of you might be sat there at home thinking similar. In terms of college life, I've talked a lot about qualifications and levels and all that kind of stuff, but it's also crucial that we support your holistic development as a young person and really allow you to flourish and thrive in life, not just in your qualification and in work. So we've got a range of different activities that you can engage with, everything there from Bakers Club, which is called Flaky Bakers. I don't know if that sounds off-putting or not. Our wellness walks, career workshops, book clubs, all those sorts of things that we do to encourage our learners to talk to each other, to develop those softer skills and to build up their confidence and resilience. We've also throughout the year got a range of welcome fairs at different sites to introduce our students to each other, as well as theme weeks where we explore particular topics to allow students to kind of dive a bit deeper on those. So we kind of talked about qualifications. We've talked about options and opportunities when you come to college to say yes to, extra things you can do when you join us. But it's crucial you think about what might suit you and how you might decide. To some of you, like I said at the start, might be really struggling with this. So you got to start with yourself. Don't look at your friends. Don't look at your brother or your sister or your mum or your dad. Think about what you want. Think about what your learning style is, what you enjoy, where you want to go in life. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Do you want to stay in the area? Do you want to move abroad? Do you want to go to university? What are your hopes and dreams? And really start kind of chasing back from that. It's also not too early to start looking at universities and seeing what courses they might want, or certain workplaces or careers in terms of apprenticeship routes. If you're still really stuck, or if you just want a bit of extra help, then please get in touch with Mark Turnbull. He is our impartial careers advisor down there. He will not just say, come to Petroc. He is about you, and he is about understanding your needs and giving you tools to be able to make those decisions. His email address is there, so it's careers@petroc.ac.uk, and I would really encourage you to get in touch with Mark. He's a really dedicated professional and will really support you in your needs. So in terms of the next steps, this evening, you've got the virtual open site where you can have a look round, have a webinar with various different staff and get to understand their areas, their sectors. We've got our advice and guidance team via live chat that you can access. And obviously, we've got the applications there online through our website. So over to any questions. Yep, so there's a few we prepared earlier. So I know I want to study at Petroc, but I'm not sure what. Can you help? Yep, so there is the Mark Turnbull in the careers section there. So careers@petroc.ac.uk. The other thing is if you get the prospectus, and this is a tip that one of the advice and guidance counsellors told me, if you tear out the pages of the courses you're really not interested in the prospectus, then that just leaves the ones that you are interested in, and it can just help you start to filter things out a bit. I think the other thing is get talking to people that work in those sectors that you're interested in and try and get a feeling of whether it is for you or not, because we can all fall in love with an idea, but that might not be the reality of it. So try your best. And that is difficult now because work experience is harder at the moment during the pandemic. So try and make use of those contacts. And also talk to our staff. If you apply, you are not locked into a deal. We're not selling double glazing. This is about your future and your career. So when you apply, you talk to our curriculum staff and they will give you a really honest appraisal of what that sector's like. We want the right students on the right course. It's in their interest to make sure we have the right applicants there. So they're not going to try and convince you to do a course that isn't right for you. Yes, you can apply for vocational and T-levels in the same subject areas, and we would encourage you to apply for as many courses as you would like to at that time. I think it's up to 5 you can apply up to at any one point, and then you'll they get ordered in your basket 1 to 5. So the first one will be the first one you're interviewed for, the second one, so on and so on. So if you apply for them in the order that you think you might like them in, that can help you. And then after each interview, the staff member will say whether you'd like to accept the offer on that place or whether you'd like to explore other options, and then you can go to other interviews if you like. Okay, this is a good question, particularly during these kind of pandemic times when it is so difficult to make our minds up, when you can't physically go to the site, have a look, talk to the lecturers face to face. We know it's challenging. During a normal year, we would allow students to change their mind on their course at the first 3 weeks of term, and it's going to be more important than ever that we do that this year. So for the first 3 weeks, when you're on your course, you can have trials and tasters on other options, and you can swap around. And we really encourage students to do that, because if you're, like I said, if you're not in the right place, you're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to get the most out of the place in the time that you're with us. And we really want you to get value out of the college. So yeah, the first 3 weeks, we are lenient afterwards. If there's a really good case and you do think week 4, oh crikey, I've changed my mind, then we'll consider that based on the course and where you're at and all those kind of things as well. So, but we try to encourage you, because the sooner you decide what you're going to do, the better outcomes for you, really. So the interview at the moment is taking place by telephone. So we've been doing that since the first lockdown. We've been telephoning our applicants, and it kind of says interview. Really, it's a bit of fact finding. It's about you figuring out if that is the right career for you, the right sector for you, and if we're the right college for you. And it's about exploring, asking questions, talking about what opportunities you're going to have when you come to us, and really asking any questions you might have. And believe us, we've heard it all. So please do ask us all these questions. They're not odd. We won't giggle. We want to be able to help and support you. Okay, I think that is it. Can't see any more questions coming up. So hopefully that's been useful for people. Please go on to the next sessions, explore the different curriculum areas, explore the different topics, and hopefully we'll see you soon.